Hey YouTube, it's Lisa, and I am going to try to make a quick video today about something that is really important to me, and it has totally changed my life and changed the relationship with my kids. So I wanted to pass it on to you, and I'm going to move the camera for just a sec because I have it all balanced up here, and it's apparently reflecting off the book that I have it on. So anyway, I'm going to talk about something that's been so important to me and my kids, and it has changed our lives, and it is not something I came up with on my own. It is just something that we heard about, and we've tried it, and it has worked so well for us. And that is trying to spend one-on-one time with our kids. That is way harder once you leave the kid, once you leave the 50-50 coverage zone, where my husband could have one-on-one with one and I could have one-on-one with the other. Well, so even at that point, when you only have two, you have bedtime. So if one of you is reading and talking with someone at bedtime, the other one is reading and talking with the other, then it doesn't make it any less important to try to have time, but it does make it easier to kind of double up on your time. Once we crossed over into that line where we no longer had one adult per child, we no longer had one-on-one coverage, it became much harder to get the one-on-one time. So what we did initially was we were trying to have dates. We would try to have these date nights, and we would schedule them. And the thing is, they were sucking up a huge amount of each day. And once you multiply them times 4, even if we were cutting them down to only an hour and doing them every week or every other week, I'm about to get a kiddo here. Yeah. So they were having quiet time, but now they've decided that they see me doing something more interesting. So anyway, even at one point we were thinking, well, okay, we would go to Panera with the kids, and we would just sit and play a board game, and I'd have a coffee and my kids would have a cinnamon roll or something, and it was adding up. By the time the week was done and we had done all 4 kids, it was like $30 or $40 even, depending on if my husband also had the time to do it. So not only that, it was a huge doing each kid, and let's just say that we actually got it done in an hour. That was 4 hours a week. That was really taken, and it was lumps of time, not like a few minutes here and a few minutes there. So that wasn't working. And at one point we thought, well, because of some of the expense, and because we were just teaching our kids to go out and sit and eat with us, and we didn't want them to be like, oh, one of the people who has emotional eating problems, because they think that the only time they're ever able to socialize is when they're eating. So we decided we were going to start doing swim dates, and we started taking the kids. I would take one, and then I would come home, and my husband would have the other one ready, and then I would take him, and then the following day, we would do the same thing, and then the following week, then my husband would take them. So they were each getting one-on-one. Well, by the time we cycled through 4 kids a week swimming, oh my goodness, we were exhausted, and it was taking forever, and it was taking forever, and so that was not working. Okay, so enter what did work, and why I'm sharing it, because it has really changed my life and changed the life of my sons. I have 4 sons, and so I sometimes think it's a little bit harder for communication, just because boys do tend to not talk as much. Well, I have one that does talk a lot, but my other ones are kind of more on the boy front of kind of just keeping it in. And my mother-in-law, we don't have a super relationship. We don't have a bad relationship, but I wouldn't say that we, I wouldn't say that we sit and have long drawn out conversations all the time. But sorry, but she gave me a nugget of gold once. She has 2 sons, my husband and then his brother. And one time she said, never let your sons stop talking. If they stop talking, they'll never start talking again. And then it's over. Your relationship is much harder to keep if you let them stop talking to you. And I have always clung to that, and that was one of the reasons we wanted to do the dates. So it was really frustrating me that the dates weren't working, or that we weren't talking, or that it was stressful. So I was listening to this podcast. I listened to this podcast called Inspired to Action. And she also has a blog called Inspired to Action, and Kat Lee is the name of the woman who does it. And I really enjoy her podcast. Usually it's really something that's right. She really is there to inspire moms. Well, I can't remember which one it was. I should have looked it up. But it was the one that talks about school routines. And the reason to look up school routines, if you do look up this podcast, because when I was going back and trying to find it, initially I couldn't find it, and because I was thinking it was called Spirit Time or something, but it was about school routines and how that 10 extra minutes is really amazing. So anyway, I got this idea. I was listening to the podcast, and she had a guest on that was talking about how she just makes sure that she spends 10 minutes a day with her kids one-on-one each day. And at first I thought, oh, I already do that. Like when they come home from school, or, I already ask them about their day and stuff, and I do, and that is true. We do spend a lot of time together, and we have family time, we play games, and we watch movies, and we do stuff together, and we're a very together family, and we do family walks and stuff like that. But what I did realize was that when they were coming home from school, or when my little ones, when I would be home, they were never alone. I was always asking them questions like, how was your day? In the midst of, I'll get you a drink in a minute, or, I'll get your snack, or have you cleaned your hands, or did you get ready for karate? I put your karate uniform in the dryer, or whatever. Like so I was always distracted. So the 10 minutes wasn't really quality time with them. So what we decided to try was, my husband gives music. My husband gives music. He doesn't give music lessons. He does music practice, piano practice with my kids. And he always does it because officially I am so not musically inclined that my 4-year-old has actually passed me now, and I can no longer help him with his piano because he reads music better than I do. And it's this is not saying that my child is a genius. I'm just saying that I would not be a musical genius. So my husband always does practice. He's very musical, and so he always practices with them. And so what's happening during that time is he has the one-on-one time while he's practicing with them, and they chat a little bit and do stuff. And while he's doing that, I alternate kids, and we go on a 10-minute walk, and we just walk the dog. Well, this has been invaluable. I mean, this has been amazing for my 7-year-old and my 11-year-old, because when we are walking, it's just that is when they just share with me, and it's just no pressure, and we're just walking, and I'll say, how was your day? And often, oh, my day was good, or whatever. But they're boys, and they don't often tend to give me more than that. But when we're walking, for some reason, just after the first couple of minutes, they really let go, and they really start to tell me. So I'll say, well, tell me the best thing about your day. And my oldest son will usually say that math ended. And then, even though he's actually not, he's good at math, he just doesn't like it. And then I'll say, what was the best part of your day? And, or what was the worst part of your day? And I'll just ask them all these questions. Well, sometimes their day will be just fine, but other times, things that I didn't know about. Like my 7-year-old will say, well, a 5th grader, pushed me off the monkey bars or whatever. And now I am not one who flies off the handle and goes to the school and says, somebody pushed my kid. But I do make mental note, okay, I'd ask about that again, the next day, and say, hey, so how was it on the playground? Was it fun? Who'd you play with? And just kind of see if I can get that again, because if it's happening every day, then I am going to address it. If it was a one-time thing and it was an accident, or it was just somebody in a bad mood or whatever, I'm not going to, make a big deal out of it. So, but it just gives me to make that mental note. There was a problem on the playground today, make sure that's resolved, to find out if it's the same kid or whatever. And those are things that when they came home from school and I said, how was your day? Oh, my day was good. Can I have a snack? And it never came out. So the 10-minute walking has been amazing. And my 11-year-old, who will be 12 in April, is actually, if we don't get our walk, we get home late or whatever, he has Boy Scouts on Wednesdays, and if we don't get our walk in, he will come and say, can we have our walk? I really need our walk. And he will ask me for it. And for a boy, I think any tween, probably, it's a big deal to ask that. And it just shows me how important it is. And every time I feel that, it is one of the only times that I feel that, when you're as a mother, you never feel like you're doing a perfect job. You never feel like you're the perfect mom, or you're doing a great job, or you're not making some huge mistake. You know what they say, behind every great kid is a mom that's sure she's messing it up. So it is the one time when we are on those walks when I actually feel 100% that I am doing the right thing. So I wanted to pass that on to you guys and just share it with you. It's so important to my heart. It's so important as a mom, and I wanted all of you to, experience it if you're not already experiencing something similar, and just pass it on, because it's not rocket science. We all know we need to spend one-on-one time with our kids, but like, I was complicating it. I was overcomplicating it, and I was actually taking away from the quality time by trying to give them these mega doses of special time, when really the 10 minutes a day is making the biggest difference in our lives. I'm sharing with my kids, they're sharing with me. We talk, and I feel like I am following my mother-in-law's advice, and I'm never ever going to let them stop talking. I'm always going to hold on to them and have them be part of my lives, and this is just a huge part of it. So I hope you got something out of this, and I hope you guys go spend some time with your kids. Love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.